Excuse me. I forgot that we were recording.
Yeah.
Uh, just having a little siesta. Last night was the 4th of July.
Yep.
Many people stay up for fireworks, or if they have a dog or other
It's
animal that's somewhat
high strung.
afraid, high strung, get a little PTSD due to fireworks,
Moss
can
Quercus.
make for a long and difficult night for some of you. I
Mm-mm.
hope all those that are watching did have a safe and happy 4th of July, though.
Yes. Likewise. Yeah. It was a long night, lots of explosions because apparently we celebrate independence by blowing shit up. That's what we do. So,
In
but yeah, like
America.
a mark. And yeah, I've got a dog, a terrier that hates the fireworks. So it was a long night for both of us, shall we say, as is every 4th of July. So I'm sure unfortunately, there's lots of pups out there running around with mindless jumping fences because of all the noise. So hopefully they get rounded up safely. But today, Justin are talking about this device right here. And in a greater context, we're talking about sleep, quality of sleep. So, Justin, you were the one who brought this to my attention originally, right? And you set up an affiliate link so that people can click on it in the show notes and buy one, and then we get some sort of credit for it. So it's about high time we talk about it, right? So tell us how you discovered it and what happens when you use it.
Yeah, so this is, for those that don't already know, this is the Manta sleep mask, as Tom was saying. There's a link, affiliate link in the description. They were gracious enough to let us be an affiliate for them and shill for them. But I think it's an amazing product. So I've been a fan of, okay, first of all, ever since I could always remember, my sleep has never been great. I'm a super light sleeper. Everything wakes me up, change in temperature, a noise, um, you know, uh, just everything. Light wakes me up, especially. I'm kind of one of those people that once I see sunlight, I'm up. Generally, harder for me to go back to sleep. Um, but this, if you could see the Manta Sleep Mask, what makes it special is it has these built-in cups in it. Um, and it completely, like, it's complete and total darkness when you put it on. That's what's so great about it. The cups are comfortable. It's really comfortable around my head. Traditional sleep masks, they're okay, but usually you still can feel light like under your eyes, like right here. Yeah, there's a typical one, and I used to use one like that for a long time.
This
Um,
is better than average, but not as good as a Manta.
right. Um, and I'm so comfortable on them. I mean, my sleep routine is I put on my Manta, I put on my uh, I've got like a rain machine or whatever it is, like a night noise machine, and I'm usually pretty out. Now if someone breaks in my apartment, it might be a bad deal because I probably won't be able to see them or hear them. But as far as sleep goes, I sleep really well. And here's the thing, it's so comfortable that we all move around in our sleep, and I know I do. And so sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like sleeping on top of the Manta mask, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. It still feels comfortable and everything, which I think is kind of funny. Easy to wash. I throw it in the wash once every other week or so, just with my other laundry. I hang dry it, and it stayed firm. So this one, as you can tell, it's quite worn, but I've had it for probably over 2 years now. And I haven't changed out the cups. I didn't buy any of the extra stuff with it. But it still works great and is still super comfortable, from day one, and just as effective from day one. Nothing's tearing or ripping or anything like that. Now, Manta does sell other cups that you can put in for some of them. They have one that's like an ice cup that you put in the freezer that's, if you have headaches or something like that, or to help cool you down when you're going to sleep. I haven't bought that yet, but I have been interested in it. They have ones that have, I think, like lavender and things like that as well. So there's a whole bunch. Highly recommend. My absolute favorite sleep mask. The only thing I would say would be an improvement is like a Bluetooth built-in like speaker or something, so that you could listen to music or a
Some binaural
podcast
beats.
or binaural beats while you're sleeping or something like that, or just sleep sound effects. So yeah, so I mean, sleep in general has always been a struggle for me, and the Manta sleep mask has been a huge step up for the last couple of years. Or I mean, I even use it if I'm taking a nap or if I just want to relax, like even just laying there with it over your eyes for like 15 minutes is a nice little recharge. That's kind of my issue, is I have a hard time turning off and relaxing and things like that for a variety of different reasons. Generally, one of them not being coffee, but it's a 5-star product, 100% for me.
Yeah, I think sleep is one of those topics we probably don't talk enough about. I know I did a video about it a long time ago, and I mentioned that I've been working on getting my sleep down for a couple of years now, just trying to improve how long I stay asleep, changing the timing of my routine and, you know, addressing what they call sleep hygiene. So, like Justin said, light uh, triggers me to wake up as well, which oftentimes comes before I really want to get up. So I got blackout curtains in my bedroom. I use red light bulbs and like the nightstand light, and even in the room where I have my computer and my TV and stuff like that, I use red lights and screen filters and stuff like that, so that when it gets towards evening, you're not getting as much blue light, which in theory helps you produce more melatonin, or stops you from blocking the production of melatonin, depending on how you look at it. I also wear earplugs. A lot of people on the spectrum are very sensitive to light, noise, and stuff like that. A lot of people can't filter it out, so it interrupts sleep. You're constantly stimulated by things in your environment. And more recently, I could probably do a video on this. I bought a chili pad. I got the chili pad Uller, and I really like it. And it's basically like a mat with uh, tubes in it that circulates cold water under you, and you can set the temperature. It's got a timer and everything. It's got an app you control it with on your phone, and it basically keeps heat from building up between you and your mattress, is what it does. And so it keeps you cooler as the night goes on, and that heat would tend to build up otherwise. And I also have weighted blankets. I got two different weighted blankets I use. And one of them is actually filled with glass beads, and it helps you stay cooler because it doesn't trap as much heat in. So yeah, so sleep hygiene and stuff like that's important. Anybody that knows that if you're working out and you don't recover, you're just gonna you can't keep up. You're not gonna get the rewards of working out and lifting if you don't get enough sleep in. Or sleep's important to the brain. It's all kinds of functions in there that need to happen while you're sleeping, that don't happen while you're awake. So, and who wants to walk around cranky and tired, when you could get a better night's sleep with a little help from something like a Manta mask or something like
Isn't
that.
so? What's the difference between your Manta and my Manta? Isn't yours the weighted one? Was that what was up? You got the weighted one, or?
I don't recall. It does have like sand in the front part.
Yeah, I think you got the weighted one,
It
which I
could
haven't
be.
tried that one yet,
I
which looks
forgot what
pretty
I
cool.
ordered. I've had it for a while now, and then you and I have been talking about, oh, we need to do a video because you had yours first, and then I was like, oh, I'll try that, And then this one here is a weighted one as well that actually came with one of the blankets, and it's not as well formed as the Manta mask, with the cups and everything, And I've got a really big head, so a lot of times I get stuff and it doesn't go around my head. Even masks, I modified all these masks so that I could wear them when we had to wear masks in public, because they were too well. With Justin's birthday, we were at a restaurant. I was wearing a mask, and my ears were like, "Ugh." They're tacoed up on the side of my head like all night. So I'm sure that's going to be the next growth industry, is just plastic surgeons that specialize in correcting ears from all the mask pinching that's been going on. So everywhere I go, I see people with their ears all bent forward for the mask. So I was happy that when I got the Manta mask that it fit. And then, like I said, it's got these cups, in case you hadn't noticed, I have giant eye sockets like a caveman. So it's kind of nice to have something big enough that's resting on the bone and not squishing my eyeballs, which is what happens with some masks. Is you don't want them resting on your eyeballs. You want them resting on the structure of your face. That's way more comfortable. So probably way healthier for your eyeballs too. So there's nothing worse than waking up with your eyeballs all flattened out. You can't see for a while. So yeah, so it's a good product, and I'm glad that Justin brought it up and made it part of my routine, because it's very helpful. So, and again, the only problem I have is, it falls off when I'm sleeping because I'm moving around. Like I said, it'll come off. I don't really know what anybody's going to do about that. Maybe there's a solution out there in the future, but for the time being, this is the best I know of. So what other steps do you take to get a good night's sleep?
Yeah, I mean, going to bed, like, even if you're not tired, like an hour before you want to actually fall asleep is usually good. Actually getting to bed. That's how you get to bed on time, is you go to bed an hour before you want to go to sleep. So I usually try to shut everything down 9:30-ish. So I know I'll fall asleep by 10:30, 11, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
um, and the whole temperature thing is important. Not eating, so I do my absolute best of eating at least 2 hours before I go to bed. And if I'm on my absolute best behavior, eating, going for a walk for a half hour, and then unwinding and then going to bed. Like, my digestion seems to do really, really well that way. Otherwise, even on carnivore with the steak, especially a fatty steak, before bed, I can get some indigestion and a little bit of burping, and not great absorption while I'm sleeping. um,
Yeah, I tend to walk the dog in the evening, not too long before going to bed too. And so that's a good thing. I feel better about taking care of my dog, and nice little walks, a nice way to wind down. A lot of times I wear the headphones and I think, oh, what do I want to listen to get my mind off of all the things that happened during the day, or all the things I got to worry about tomorrow. So, I'll listen to a podcast, or one of Justin's live videos on Instagram, or some comedy or something. So and that puts me in a good mood, and adds a little levity. And then I make a few comments about Justin wearing lip gloss or something like that, and I go to sleep.
So, Tom, this might be more pertinent to the audience. I get it. I'm a single guy, so the only bedroom stuff I have to worry about is myself. You are taken. You've been taken for quite some time. So, who goes to bed first? How does that work out between you and your significant other?
Oh, my girlfriend's almost always asleep before I am. She spends way more time in bed. She sleeps way more than I do, and in that way, we're kind of polar opposites. Because I've always had a hard time getting. Well, I thought I was sleeping more than I was until, I've talked about this before. I started wearing a Fitbit, and it's tracking how much I'm actually sleeping and how much I'm waking up and all that, which is probably the most useful thing next to tracking how many calories I'm using up. So that was a real eye opener, and a big step, because, like you said, just because you're in bed doesn't mean you're sleeping, right? You can't just lay down and go to sleep, or some people can, but a lot of us can't. Like my girlfriend's, boom, she's out. She's got the TV on, she's sawing logs, and almost nothing keeps her awake. It seems like. Me, on the other hand, it's like a whole ordeal to, like, plan everything out, make sure the conditions are right, and like you said, try and get in bed early, because you're not going to just, people like me generally just don't fall asleep right away. It takes a while.
And traveling is always a struggle, trying to sleep while traveling.
Yeah, I
As soon
just,
as you get in the hotel room, crank the AC. That's my tip. Like immediately, as low as it goes, pretty much.
yeah, that's something to consider. When you travel, you're going to be sleeping in a bed, might be too hard, might be too soft, might be too warm, you know? So, anyways, a lot of those things can happen. So, anyways, yeah, something like a Manta you could take with you anywhere, you know?
Oh
So,
yeah, I pack it. I always pack it when I'm going on trips and so. And it, I think it helps with a little bit of that familiarity because when you're talking about sleep, kind of also psychologically safety, right? We have to feel like we're safe and secure before we can sleep generally. And I think that's one issue that people have when they travel and stuff in a new place or having, difficulty or anxiety about sleeping and traveling is that safety. And so taking the Manta sleep mask with you, it makes it feel a little more that you're just at home.
yeah. And I think it comes up all the time. I hear, doctors talking about it all the time. They got patients that are, CrossFit athletes or whatever, they're super healthy, they eat really well, but they're having problems with this, hormone levels are off, they're losing their energy or whatever. And a lot of times it's they're not getting enough sleep because a lot of us are busy people, we've got family to some extent and jobs, and we sit in traffic and things we're always trying to do. And there's been a lot of sort of virtue signaling around sleep. And I remember, like, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, this is probably around the time he was governor here, just after, and he's like, oh, you could be more productive, you only need 6.5 hours of sleep. And as much as I'd like to get 6.5 hours of sleep or more every night, how the hell does he know, right? How much how could he possibly know how much sleep every human being? It's like saying everybody should be drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water every day, right? It's just these weird metrics that people throw up like there's some sort of authority on every individual. So if you're not meeting your goals or you're just tired, then maybe you need more sleep, and maybe the Mana Mask is one way to help you get there, right?
Ryan, just one more thing talking about sleep cycles. I forget the name of the book, but there's a great book about the different kind of cycles of sleep. There's like four different kinds of sleepers or something like that. And only
Mhm.
a small percentage of people can do like a full 8 hours in one stint, you know? Most people actually kind of cycle, in and out. I think Lady Carnivore talked about this a bit. That's why she can get up at 4, go to her workout and come home. And I think she takes a nap like later in the day. That's honestly my preference. My preference is actually to sleep 6, maybe 7 hours at night and have an hour or an hour and a half nap sometime in the middle of the day. But a typical 9 to 5 work schedule just doesn't so just doesn't allow itself for that kind of experience. But if I could
Right.
build my life like I'm trying to do, then I would certainly have it to where there would be an hour or a couple hours each day where I could nap. Because it was an interesting thing about carnivore. I was never a big napper, but even though my overall night sleep is still, I'm getting better and it continues to get better. But my ability to nap, if I want to lay down and take a nap, I am out for a solid hour and it's blissful. And that is so different in my life compared to before carnivore.
Yeah, as I could say, I've never really been good at taking naps. Like falling asleep in the middle of the day is like almost impossible. It does happen on occasion, but yeah. So, and like you said, a lot of people's schedules just don't accommodate that. There's nowhere I could think of where I could take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. So we'll see. I mean, and maybe that's what the better way to spend lunch hour. I don't know, but um, I read a book called The Sleep Solution, I believe it was, and I talked about it in the video I did. I don't know, it's probably a couple of years ago now. So I'll post that in the links or in the show notes below, so people can revisit that. But it really breaks down, what's going on when people are sleeping, and what sort of issues they're probably having and how to get through it. So it was a really helpful book for me. I'm not sure if that's the same one. That I think actually Lady Carnivore was talking about a different book, so that I haven't looked at yet. But yeah, there's good books out there, and it's good to get it from. I think the one I read, I forgot the author's name, but I think he's an actual, not just an MD, but a brain surgeon, a neurologist. So he really actually knows something about brains and sleep, and it because we're always sort of awash in sort of bro science and false ideas and stuff like that. So it's good to get the story from somebody who actually helps people get better sleep, for a living. So, anyways, yeah, I highly recommend it. So it's a good part. I mean, you can eat right and exercise, but if you don't sleep, you're missing an important part of the equation there. And as much as I sleep a lot better now that I'm carnivore, I probably still don't sleep quite enough. So the quality has gone up. I just need a little more quantity. So
And it is a bit difficult because when you're carnivore, you generally have an abundance of energy, especially in the morning, especially when you first get up. It's not a feeling of stress. It's just like, you just get up and go and you just want to tackle the day, you know. Um, and so it can be, you can kind of not want to sleep, but then, you might end up with some fatigue or health effects later, that could have been avoided had you taken your sleep seriously. And it's like a lot of things. It takes practice. You know, there's so many things that we think should just come naturally. But I think it's twofold. One, our environment is so far removed from natural. We're not in a cave, right? We don't eat at 6:30 and go to bed at 9 or whatever, maybe 11 or something like that. We're not getting up to
yeah,
hunt, at 6, with the sun and stuff like that. Um, and so we have to adjust and figure out what works for us. And maybe that is sneaking in a half-hour nap on a lunch break, just to make it through the second half of the day. And that's okay. I think there's a lot of people that are carnivores or in the fitness space that just plow through it, just plow through the fatigue, get up at 4. You know what I mean? Hit the gym, go to work, hit the gym on your way back from work. You know what I mean? And maybe there's some people that can do that, and maybe they can do that long term. But I think the majority of people need more rest.
yeah. Well, I always see this post from Jocko Willink, and he's like at the gym. He's like getting ready for his workout at like 3:49 in the morning. I'm like, where do you work that fits in your schedule? I mean, I get it. Some people go to the office, so they got to be there at 7, and then they're at the gym at 5 or some working out, get cleaned up, and drive to the office. I get that, but why 3 o'clock in the morning? you know, I,
Well, and he's seen as a hero for doing that. He's military, and I think it's one of those things of
no,
he's
he's an amazing guy.
oh yeah, he's built that way though. Just he's just something about him. He's obviously an extraordinary person. You know.
Right. Yeah. I just don't understand the timing. So that's the only thing I don't understand about him. But anyways, not to put him down because he's an inspiring guy and a true American hero. So, but that watch that he posts on Instagram every day, I was like, what are you thinking, man?
Got to get motivated. Got to get the
Uh,
day started. But see, he posts nothing after like 3 p.m. So my assumption is he's going to bed at like 7 or 6. Because I do know people that would do
could be.
that and they would go to bed like 7, 6, stuff like that. It's like I feel like you're missing too much of the day then. And there's I feel like that's too off in the other direction.
Right. And in a we developed, let's say, I like to say we evolved basically to be active while the sun is up and then sleep mostly while the sun is down. I mean, there's kind of no getting away with that. It's like you're just fighting your biology at that point, and that's why it's less than
Oh,
off.
there is. It's called methamphetamine. It's just, there's serious consequences.
Right. Not that we'd ever advocate that, would we? But yeah, so the closer you can be to you know tracking, being awake during daylight in sleep during the dark, probably the better you're going to be. And most people, you know, in studies need somewhere between like 6.5 and 9 hours, 8.5 hours of sleep or something is optimal for most people, somewhere in there. Everybody, it's a range, right? So yeah, I don't believe anybody who tells you they know exactly how much sleep you should get. That's kind of something you got to work out for yourself. So anyways, I think we covered this one nicely. What about you?
Yeah, I mean that and cocaine's a hell of a drug. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Justin. That's very carnivore of you. All right, then. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope we entertained you a little bit. Hope we informed you a little bit. Please send out links to this video to people who will be helped by it. Take a look at the Manta, see if it's for you, and give us the old thumbs up. Stay subscribed. Subscribership really makes a big difference. So the more we can grow the subscribership, the more rewarding this is. So please subscribe and leave us a comment. And until next time, eat some meat, feel better, and whatever you do,
Don't fall
fall
down the
down the
carb
carb hole.
hole.